how to become an idealized influencer within your organization. Guys, this is really, really important. Leadership is premised on your ability to influence your employees, to follow your organization and to follow the vision that you have for the organization. As a result of that, if you're not able to effectively influence, then you're probably not an effective leader. What we know from the research is that leaders who lack idealized influence, what normally happens is that they create a culture of uncertainty and mistrust within the organization because there's inconsistencies in the values. One day you're doing one thing, the next day you're doing another. That can bring about chaos. So you certainly need to avoid that. In addition to that, there's a lack of motivation amongst your staff because there's no one taking the lead. There's no one setting that clear vision. What then happens? There's a high rate of turnover. Staff are running out of the door because they do not believe in you as a leader. They don't believe in your vision and they can't see a way forward. The big question today is, how can we prevent this? Hello and welcome to another episode of Leading Health with Dr. Atom. Much appreciated. I am so grateful that you have been able to connect, to engage and to explore this episode with me. Let's get straight into it. But before we do, please hit the subscription button. Today, what we're going to be exploring is looking at the two key competencies that you need to be an idealized influencer within your organization. So we're going to be thinking about how you can circumvent some of those negative consequences of not being an influencer within your organization, and you can move the organization forward by being an idealized influencer. But first of all, guys, what is an idealized influencer? So imagine this. Imagine a healthcare organization where the leader is more than just a boss or a figurehead. So someone that's more than just the boss or the person that you have to take instructions from. Imagine a situation where the leader is actually a true role model, someone that is inspiring, someone that is empowering their team to actually get the best out of themselves on a day-to-day basis. That would be amazing, right? An idealized influencer is a leader who knows how to get other people to follow them. A leader who gets people on board and who makes them want to follow their vision. So an idealized influencer is a leadership style that is transformational in nature. What you do is you create a culture of excellence and integrity. And if you're thinking about a healthcare organization, that is really, really, really important. The first key competency that you need to be an idealized influencer is to think about yourself as a leader in terms of your behavior and your actions. So an idealized influencer is a leader that behaves and acts in an appropriate way. You consider yourself and your beliefs and your visions and you act accordingly. And so when we are thinking about this, what we're really alluding to is your ability to be authentic, to be honest, and to be transparent. So the way in which you communicate, the way in which you actually engage with your workforce is open. By demonstrating that sort of integrity, by demonstrating your ethical behavior, what you start to create as a leader is really powerful, and it's called trust. Trust is the most important element. So when you have trust from your followers, they're going to look at your vision and believe in it. So an example, I remember one of the leaders I worked with in one of my first ever healthcare organizations, right? This leader was so calm and so collective. The behavior was always 100%. The leader never shouted, never screamed, did things in the right way. And sometimes you used to think, is that person a robot? No, they were an idealized influencer. And because of that, everyone respected the leader. So that is what we all need to do as leaders in organizations. The second competency of an idealized influencer is the follower's perception of you as a leader. So as a leader, you have to be wary of how do your followers see you? And their perception of you is going to be based on your behavior and your personality. Also, the way in which you communicate. Are you communicating effectively or ineffectively? If we think about it, followers are more likely to perceive their leader as being idealized influencers if they view them to have a few key characteristics: being really, really trustworthy, being really, really sincere, being really genuine. So from the research, what we know is that when we're thinking about idealized influencers, there's some key characteristics, some key competencies that you need. So you need to have charisma, you need to have a vision, and you need to have a strong sense of purpose. If you don't have these, then employees are not going to follow you as a leader, especially when times get hard. And that's when you need your employees the most. So if you're thinking about an idealized influencer, you have to think about, do you have these competencies? And these competencies is what's going to help you to move your organization forward. What are some of the positive impacts that idealized influencer has as a leader? Number one, we can think about motivating followers to strive for excellence and to work in terms of bringing together the organization to achieve that shared vision. Number two, creating that sense of purpose, that sense of meaning amongst all of the employees so that there's that collectivism. Number three, getting better decisions being made at all levels of the organization. This is something that is really, really important. Number four, it increases innovation within the organization, and we know what that means for productivity. Number five, it increases productivity, which is what we're always looking for. And finally, number six, it is about getting those advanced patient outcomes, improving care quality. Something that I'm always talking about and I think is really important. And as an idealized influencer within a healthcare organization, that's what you are going to be able to achieve. Those are the two key competencies you need to become an effective idealized influencer within your organization. I have a challenge for you guys. Moving forward, how are you going to improve your ability, to be an idealized influencer? What are you going to do to be a better idealized influencer within your organization? Leave a comment, let me know. Let's have a discussion about it. Let's interconnect.